Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this next episode of Decision Intelligence Directors. I'm Kate Tickner of Pyramid Analytics, and I'm delighted to be joined today by Itay of Camden AI. Say hello, Itay.
Hello, thanks for having me.
So a little bit about Camden. You're a UK company headquartered in Camden in London, and you provide innovative technology solutions based on both artificial but also human intelligence in order to help your clients solve complex business challenges. And you're one of Pyramid UK's longest standing partners and have a number of joint clients with you. So I'm really happy to be talking to you today. Thanks for joining me. I thought we could start by perhaps you telling us a little bit about yourself and how you came to set Camden AI up in the first place, please, Itay.
Of course. So, first of all, thanks for having me. The bit about myself. I started my career as in a startup, obviously with it's focused on data. The startup built multidimensional engines. And one of those engines was sold to Microsoft, and everybody would know this today as analysis services, or in its evolution as the tabular model, etc., etc. So that was kind of how I started. I'm a computer science guy. I have a degree in computer science, and if you ask me, kind of my passion is all about data, about analytics, about knowing and identifying in patterns. So that's kind of who I am. I then kind of moved into more of the project and delivery type work, which was another startup, which was then I spent a few years there, and then we were acquired by a large corporate, and I spent 9 years in a corporate world, which was on one side a big change, but also I've learned a lot, and it was quite an experience. But after a while, I kind of felt that myself, the team that I was working with, we wanted to have to move at a different pace, to be closer to innovation, and also to have an impact on clients and kind of see the impact manifest itself quicker. So we kind of I left and I've started Camden AI, and that's where we are now.
Okay, well, why don't you tell us a little bit about some of your favorite customer stories and experiences so far in your own business?
The most exciting time was really as a result. I mean, we spun out literally when COVID started, so it's quite on one hand very, very different, but on another kind of angle, we saw some really urgent problems that happened. Two things alongside COVID, kind of boom in an e-commerce world was kind of happening all over the place, and it presented a few problems to clients, mainly two. One is the spend on digital marketing was just incredible, and people were spending, companies were spending just enormous amounts of money without really knowing the impact of it. They were just kind of funneling money into it. The other problem that people kind of encountered is that when COVID ended, the spend had to be more about efficiency, more about understanding the return on that spend, understanding the profitable channels where you spend, which channels, which mix of spend. So those things became really critical for companies post-COVID and towards the end of COVID in order for them to survive. So it's not about just profitability, it's about survival, because it's a massive spend item on the balance sheet. So we looked at that and we came up with really exciting models and exciting analytics around understanding the attribution of a sale, understanding where a sales come from, understanding how to attribute the mix in selling, et cetera, which we're working with almost all of our clients on those models and implementing those. So that's great. The other thing is around supply chain and stock, which also massive problem still today, about understanding your demand and understanding your supply chain and what to order and how much of each, et cetera, long-term problem, but really exacerbated by what's going on in the world today, and woozy models that we came up with. Those are very exciting because you can see immediately what we're doing had an immediate impact. Within 3-4 months, you could see people actually, reaping the benefits of implementing those models and those projects. So those are the two. Most of our UK clients are using the models that we've implemented with them, and yeah, that's the favorite problems we'd like to solve. Things that we can see help businesses immediately, not wait 2 years for realization.
Okay, well, so with that sort of storied background in BI and analytics and all sorts of things, what do you see as the role of decision intelligence in that relatively sort of crowded space?
Well, the question we need to ask ourselves is, what is decision intelligence and who makes decisions?
Indeed.
Okay, I have two answers to that. One is decision intelligence is about AI and automation, but AI in its most narrow form. So no magic. Literally, it's about automation. It's about reducing manual effort in a business and in an organization, and therefore reduce mistakes and reduce cost. And the other element of it is really about understanding your flow, your processes, what's going on in the market, understanding and responding really quickly. So time to market using automated tools, so automated models, automated workflows. So those kind of are the elements that we work with in your introduction about us. This is not just about the tools. It's not just about models. It's not just about computers. There's a human element to everything we do. And we are not in the world of completely everything is automated, because it just doesn't work like that still. So decision intelligence today for us is about really reducing the manual effort and increasing the time to market, and those are the two things that we are focused on.
Perfect. Okay. And so one of the other challenges that we see clients really struggling with is that they're all interested in AI. They're all interested in machine learning, and they think they should be doing it, whatever it is to them. So first of all, how do you help them define what it is to them and secondly, how do you typically help them construct a business case around it? Because of course, whilst it might be intellectually satisfying to be looking at it, very often I think people struggle with tying it down to actual what's time or money is it going to make or save for us? So how do you help them build those ROI cases?
It does link to the previous question. So how we do that is, one, we're very critical about some of the business questions people come to us with and say, hey, we want to do this, and we ask, why do you want to do this? So we go deeper into that and find out that actually how much manual effort it reduces, how much quicker it gives you to respond, how fast you can respond to market changes. We focused on aligning where you want to go as a strategy. Do you want to go? Do you want to grow? Do you want to focus on a specific area? So we align some of the business drivers to tangible outcomes, and those outcomes in most cases can be, unless it's a complete infrastructure refresh or things of that sort, can be measured, and that's what we do. We measure things and we analyze data. So we try and understand what's the impact in the outskirts of the project, in the beginning, what's the impact on the business, and prioritize based on that, because sometimes what looks fun and cool to have is really have a minimal business impact, and what's actually a bit more sometimes looks mundane, or identifying some patterns that without context means nothing. So you need to identify the context you operate with, and that's what we do. So we really contextualize things in order to understand the real business impact of of an AI or machine learning project or an analytical project. They're all linked. AI and machine learning is a big word. Everybody applies it to everything these days, but it is about understanding the pattern of behaviors, trying to forecast what's going to happen. But you can only do that if you have the context, and history is not necessarily the right context. Sometimes, if you look at the COVID days, it's definitely not the context you want to rely on when you forecast where you want to go and what you want to do. So, one example, yeah.
We've got a little bit of time. I'd just like you to elaborate slightly. You've talked about, when we talk about the last mile of analytics, we talk about the end-to-end process of people being able to explore the data, model the data, report on the data, and all the way through to predictive and prescriptive analytics. I know you use Pyramid at some of your clients, and so you've talked about WSSI, for example, but how important is it to empower users who are not accustomed to working with, AI and the non-rocket scientists, if you like? How important is that ease of use and that use of AI itself in terms of augmenting the user experience and making it easier? How have you seen that deliver results?
It's one of the main pillars we rely on. I think it's one of the most important things that we do for our clients, and clients need to look at that. And the reason is, I talked about context previously, and the context that I talked about is, if we take an example of competitive landscape, of data enrichment, or understanding where the market is going, those elements in the data, users or people in businesses with specific functions rarely have everything in one place, rarely have recommendation engines that allows them to say yes, no, create models that are dynamic. Like in the old school dynamic pricing, today it's extremely important to have dynamic modeling, so you can consider the context of your competition, of the market, of the weather, of if you're retail, the footfall, of pricing, of how you are doing history as well, but not just. So presenting the data in a form that is consistent, in a way that is easy to make decisions based on that data is critical, and people underestimate the old school problem of just bringing all the data into one place and organizing in a consistent way and using and enriching it with contextualized data and contextualized models, and suggest things to users. Say, hey, our recommendation engines thinks that your benchmark from your competition is not where it should be. It's those kind of things that make a difference, helping them make the right decision, challenging their thinking, not replacing their decision making.
So explaining things to them, giving them the context of something, and perhaps giving them headlines on what to go and look at in the context of the dashboard or the analytics that they're exploring. Okay, brilliant. I know you've talked about how you like to work with clients, and I've seen how you work with clients. And I think the phrase you use quite a bit is, tell it like it is. I find that approach very refreshing. It certainly fits the way I like to do things. But can you explain a bit about what you mean when you work with clients in that way?
It's really about if you avoid direct and honest conversation, you just prolong problems and you create a lot of space for interpretation and then disappointment on the back of that. And when you tell customers what they want to hear, it's short-lived, and it also, even if after a year everybody's looking at the project and saying this doesn't have any business impact, it doesn't make any sense why we're doing this, that's not where we want to be. So we are very direct. Tell it the way it is means they're paying us to help them, so we're gonna come with a very specific directive that how recommendation, how things are and how things they need to be. We don't do it out of context. We don't do it in an unprofessional way, but we do believe in minimum red tape, minimum everything needs to be clear. Objective needs to be clear. The current situation needs to be clear, and the way to A to B can be shortened by. It can be really short if you say what you mean and you just deliver it, and they say what they want, and everything is simple and honest.
Okay, that's great. Thank you. So last question then. We've talked a lot about your work and your work history, but what do you do when you're not working, Itay? What do you like to do to relax?
Oh, well, I'm a big football fan.
Okay.
And I'm not going to say which team, but I'm not relaxed. I'm a family man. I love spending time with my wife and my kids and quality time because I do work a lot. So when I'm not, I'm trying to spend time with my team as well out of work, just and their families, and make sure that we account for that. I love food, cook food, great food, all types of food.
Okay.
So those are the things. Those are the things I do. My passion is my family and the people I work with, and to be honest, the customers we have a few of the customers that we've developed such a strong relation that we don't see ourselves just as partners at work. We also spend time beyond that, which is a great achievement, I think, and creates good atmosphere for everyone.
Well, I've certainly enjoyed working with you since we started teaming up. So thanks so much for your time today. And we look forward to many more successful customer projects with you and your team. Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.